December.
In December?
So
When's your birthday? December
3rd. So I'm gonna just turn 19.
Oh, nice. My son is 17. He just turned 17. He doesn't smile for me.
Me neither. I'm not a smiler.
I'll be like, smile.
That's my mom. You just smile. I'm like, nah, please.
That's mine. He's like, don't look at me.
How long does this normally last, or like, what is?
For like an hour, yeah. Yo, what up, everybody? It is your girl, Melissa. Woo woo. Happy Friday, y'all. It's been a good week. I don't know. It's been a good week for you?
Yes, ma'am. Sure has.
Yeah, it's been an awesome week. I mean, the weather, you know, it doesn't know what it's
crazy.
doing. Yeah, it's
crazy.
like cold in the mornings, which I like. But this morning was kind of one of those like super cold mornings.
Cold, mid-afternoon, got kind of warm. So.
Yeah, and then it got nice, and then here I'm in a sweater, you know, and then it's like the days that I should be wearing a sweater, I'm like in a tank top or something, I'm like, oh my god, it's like, oh, like, I should already know, I live in Colorado, right? But we hope you guys are having an amazing day. And, you know, I'm so excited because my guest that I have on today with me is Ramiro Figueroa.
Yes.
Yes. Ooh, see, I'm getting better, y'all. I'm getting better with names, how to pronounce them. And, you know, your girl's getting on track. So how's everything going today? What's going on with you?
It's going good. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you're an amazing boxer. I've seen you fight a couple times at the Sparta fights, and I was like, you know, we've been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and I was like, I need to bring you on. Like, you're just, from my perspective, because I don't know him personally, I just seen him at the fights, and as we know, we admire fighters, what they do, their lifestyle, you know, from afar, our perspective eyes of what we see on the outside, right? And you always just have like such a good attitude, such an amazing fan base, that you always have follow with you and people come with you and everything. And just the genuinity of who you are and representing our culture, I like to say. We know Hispanic Heritage Month is all Latinx. We get it. We know it's not just Mexico or Puerto Rico or España. We know it's everybody. But, you know, representing our heritage and, you know, representing our people, it's awesome because there's just so much love out there. And so, you know, just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are for our audience that might not know who you are and seeing you for the first time.
Okay. My name is Ramiro Figueroa. I was born December 3rd, 2001. I am 18 years old. And I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. My mom is from Durango and my dad is from Michoacan. And that's a little bit about my family. I have 2 sisters. And yeah.
That's awesome. And then your sister's older or younger?
Yeah, both of my sisters are older.
Nice. So
they
got the baby brother sticking up for them. Come on, somebody. And so how did you get into boxing? How did that start off?
Okay, so actually one of my best friends, he's in the Marines right now. His name is Matthew Spinoza. He actually did it for a couple of weeks, and it was a program once a week every Thursday. Go to the rec center, they take you to a gym up in Brighton called Strictly Boxing Gym, and I did that for a few weeks, and coach started saying, you're getting really good, you need to come in here more, maybe get you some fights. And I did. I started going at least twice a week. It was kind of hard. I had to catch the bus, but I still did it, and then eventually, instead of being a part of that class, I took over that class, and I was the trainer as long as another partner of mine, and we just took on that class for about 2 years.
That's awesome. So Strictly Boxing, and you said that's in Brighton?
It was in Brighton, yeah.
Oh, it was in Brighton. Okay, cool. And is that who you're still with?
No, right now I'm unattached, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, come on, somebody. I can see you out there, okay? And so you got into that with your friends, and then how did you start getting, like, into the fights, and how did all that process start happening?
So after my coach told me I need to get a few fights, I started sparring a lot more with better fighters, better opponents, and I got really confident, and he said, let's get you a fight. And my first fight was actually for the Golden Gloves, and unfortunately, I went in there kind of like thought I knew everything based off of spar. I thought it was gonna be just like sparring, but turns out each fight is a different world. It's like they try to take your head off, they try to kill you in there. So
Yeah.
I got stopped. I believe in the second or third round for my first fight.
Oh, but that's okay, because I think, I think, like, if we win it all, right, all the time, you never get those valuable lessons.
Yeah.
You never learn the things that you need to learn that are going to help
definitely.
you, like, through fighting. And not even just in fighting, even in life, right?
Yeah,
Falling
most
and going through those things, like, they help grow you and who you are. And you're still really young. I'm like, I got a child, like, as old as him, so I'm dating myself. Okay, just don't listen to that part. But, going through that and going through those falls, how did that give you a new perspective on what you needed to do?
Well, basically, each fight, it motivated me. Like, each fight, you learn something new. Like, for my first fight, I got TKO'd in I believe it was the second or the beginning of third round. And it just tells me, I have my hands down. So my next fight, I'm like, I got to keep my hands up. But then I had my hands up too high, and then I got caught with the body shot. So each fight, you learn something else. And till this day, I've had over 56 amateur fights. And till this day, you can't learn enough. You always learn something new.
Yeah, and I like what you said about every fight is a different world. So
Yes,
explain that, because that's deep. I was like, okay, come on.
Yeah, you would think after a certain amount of fights, like I said, if you have, I know people who have 100 fights, 200 fights, and like you would think they know it all, but they don't. I've seen guys that, I think can never be beat, and I've seen guys that, like, this guy can never get beat, and I've seen him get knocked out,
Yeah.
So you just never know in this world, especially boxing.
Yeah, I know, because sometimes, even when we're watching those fights, like, on pay-per-view and stuff like that, you're like, what the heck is happening? Like, because you think, like, they're going to take it, the person that you're going for, whoever you're not going for. And so, who was your coaching at the time when you started in fighting? Because I know you're unassigned right now. So when getting into your fights, like, how did the process go?
Okay, for my first fight, I was training with Robert Lopez, Coach Rick Lopez's brother, and I was with him for about a year. And then when I got my first fight, I actually had Rick Lopez corner me. And like I said, I was with them for about my first 2 years.
Yeah.
And then gyms just started closing down, too expensive and all that. So we kept moving gym to gym, and that's what made me just decide to go unattached, because since Brighton, we moved to Thornton, and I was there for about a year as well. And then from there, we moved to Arvada. And then from there, just gyms get too expensive. They close down, especially now, like with COVID and all that. Like, everything's closed down, so we really can't be paying gym memberships and stuff. So I just decided to go out of my garage.
Yeah, that's good. And so who helps you? Like, do you have someone that helps you and helps you train and stuff like that?
Yeah, his name is Coach Raul. I've been training with him, and like right now he's a little too busy, so I'm starting to join Misael Lopez's crew.
Okay.
He's a pro boxer. I believe he's 11 or 12-0. He's an ABF champ right now.
Oh, nice.
And I'm joining his crew for now because I think it's better for me. I have more sparring partner. I have Aaron Lopez and Misael. They're both semi-pros and pros, so I need that work. They're both young. They push me to my limit. They push me over where I need to be. And I think it's just a better fit for me. Yeah,
and that's good, and I think a lot of people sometimes think, like, when you go to different coaches or you go to different gyms, like, something happened, like, there's bad blood, but that's not always the case, right? Sometimes, like, even in life, like, when we're moving on up, you can't always take everybody with you, right?
Yeah,
same thing with, like, the gyms and that, like, you're moving because you want to better advance you, and you said, what's a better fit for you, and I think people sometimes forget about that, like, because it's about you and a better fit for you and what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And speaking of coaches, I believe you recently had a coach that passed away.
Yes, Coach James. Yeah.
So tell us about him.
He was a coach. I actually we met on a gym in Thornton, and before he was a boxing coach, he would just go down. So we had it was 3 gyms. There was 2 boxing upstairs, and they were divided. It was Denver Boxing Academy and Strictly Boxing Gym. And then in the basement, it was like lifting weights and stuff. It was called South Defined, and he was a part of the South Defined.
Okay.
So he said...
Over by the Mambo Cafe, right?
Right over there, and right there on 84th and beyond. And it was right there, and he would always go up and just look, and like we would always talk to me. He's a good guy, and he'd be like, you know, like, oh, I used to do a little bit of jiu-jitsu and MMA back in the day, and like, you know, I'd mess around with him and like try grabbing him by the legs and like throwing him, and he'd always counter me, and but yeah, he was actually like, I think it was 2 years ago, before he was a boxing trainer, he was like, I want to learn how to box and like do mitts and all that, and he's like, it looks very interesting. He's like, and if I could do that, I could teach you guys strength and conditioning and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm down to help you. Like, I'll throw some gloves on, and like you could throw the mitts, and like I'll show you how to do it. And me and another coach of mine we showed him how to do it. And ever since then, he got really good, and he actually joined the other team that was on the other side with Misael and Ibn Said, and the team that I'm going into right now. He joined them, and like we weren't on the same side anymore.
Oh, okay.
So he joined them, taught them strength and conditioning, and he just got really big from there. And he got his license to coach, and he was just really into it. Every time he talked, he's like, I can't wait to go big. I want to do this like for a long time. And you know, he was very he's an awesome coach. And and then he started training me in my garage not too long ago as well for the fight that you went to with my bout. You know, he started training me for that camp, and then he just got really sick, and unfortunately he couldn't recover, and he got weak, and so he recovered, like not fully, and his body was just too weak, and then he had to return back to the hospital, and he passed away.
Oh, yeah, that's so sad. And rest in peace, you know, and prayers out to the family and everything. And I just know that, you know, it was someone that instilled in you, and, you know, someone who you looked up to, that was like a mentorship. And so what were some of the things that he taught you that you feel like will always just stick with you, you know?
Yeah, he always taught me just like to never give up, because like he was so motivated. He'd work all night. He'd go to work really late at night, and then sometimes at 7 in the morning we wake up, me and Aaron, and we'd go to the park and like do some exercise early.
Yeah.
So right after work, he's on no sleep, you know. He was always active. Hey, training today? Yes or no? Let's go sparring. Like, he was always motivating everybody.
That's good.
And when he didn't have to, you know, he didn't charge none of us, which he could have, and like that's the thing that, you know, I respect about him. So.
Yeah. And so
he did it all from the heart, is what I was trying to get to.
And being genuine, and you love that, right? Because I mean, I think any of us, you know, anybody that, you know, mentors us and pours into our life, and that you see the true genuineness there, and not about, you know, this or that or money or whatever the case may be, but truly like being a mentor and spending that time with you and helping you and, you know, inspiring you to do what you want to do. And so, you know, we have a belt here, guys. Yeah, we're gonna show you. So this is from your last fight, right? Oh, I gotta hold it. Okay, I'm gonna be the KUHS ring girl today. No, I'm just joking. But we got this right here, and so this is from your last fight, and you got the championship of this. And so tell us the road leading up to this.
So my first semi-pro fight, I was a little anxious, and when I got in the ring, I thought I was good till I got in the ring and I froze up, and like my body wasn't the same, and like I was just too tense, and I lost that fight. And then I just wanted that not to happen again, so I kept coming back stronger. And then my second fight, I did really good again. And same thing, every fight, like I said, this happens, but after every fight, it gets a little bit better, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, like after every fight, you learn something new. After every fight, I get less nervous, if that makes sense. And but yeah, I had 3 semi-pro fights, and then this one was my 3rd one. And I was supposed to fight somebody else for the title, but then he wanted me to go down to 145, and that's not my weight. My weight is 147, and I told the promoter to, you know, it's only 2 pounds, so like if he doesn't want to do it, then I'm not gonna, like, you know, drop those 2 pounds and like kill my body for it.
Yeah.
So he told me if I wanted to go up to 155 and fight a guy who just fought the month before, Darian Robinson. He also just won I think he just won a title at 160 in MMA last month, so we're both champions right now.
Nice.
And but yeah, I fought him. He was 1-0 or 2-0 when I fought him, And it was a different experience because I fought in the octagon. I never fought in the octagon because they did bare knuckles and stuff that night. So it was just a different experience. I never fought in the octagon, so when I fought in there, like, it was like I can't close the ring off. There's literally no ring. It's the whole circle. Like, I was rusted and like.
So how is that? Because I always think when I go to the Sparta fights, and shout out to Jeff Cisneros and your crew and Sparta Media, and I always think that though because in boxing you're used to like going up to the side and the rings and the ropes. But being in the octagon is like a total different atmosphere. So how do you think that's challenging? So as far as like boxing's concerned.
Well, for my opponent, it wasn't. I don't think it was that hard for him because he's an MMA fighter, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I've never stepped in an MMA ring at all. Like, not even like just messing around. If I seen a ring, an octagon, I've never stepped in one. So the first time stepping in one was like my fight. So like, it's different. In a ring, you could close off the ring. You close off the angles, make different angles, and eventually you'll get them on the ropes. And for the octagon, all you have to do is just run around, and you just don't. That's all I realized was like, you can't close anything off in the octagon.
Yeah.
As long as you're moving, you're just gonna keep staying distant.
Okay. I'm like, I always wondered that, because I'm like, that's crazy, because like, I guess you could push him up against the fence if you wanted to.
I mean, you can, but then you don't want to do like a leg hold or something.
And just be like, go off.
Start doing MMA and stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy. And so, congratulations on your last championship and your title. And, that's amazing. And only being 18 and already having that, is awesome. And, so what are you aspiring to do? What is your goal in boxing? Where do you want to head out in the future? And, let us know.
Okay. So my goal in boxing is, of course, I want to go pro, but pro is not always a guarantee. I've had people, like I said, that I thought were going to go pro, and turns out they couldn't go pro due to head injuries and a whole bunch of stuff. So my plan is to go pro the middle of next year or the end of next year, for sure. And if maybe as far as I could possibly go, and if I can't go that far, I'm always going to stick in the boxing world. Like, I have my own ring in my house. My plan for the future is opening up my own gym for myself. And I love training people. I love training little kids. It motivates me. And that's my plan for now.
And I just want to say, don't say if you can. I'm the one, y'all know, I'm the one who always speak life, right? Never speak death, speak life. And so I always say, don't say if I can, just say I will. I will make it, and I will get there, because I believe in you, and I believe you will get it. And, just as much motivation as you have right now, you can do anything. I mean, you're 18, you just turned 18 recently. Well, not that recently, but recently. And, to already have those accomplishments by 18 is amazing. And, as we know in most sports, right, the older you get in sports, the less in your career, right?
Yeah,
so
most definitely.
You're already on the track of where you need to be and where you're going. And I think that's so awesome, especially, you can see it. And like I've told you, you could just see the genuinity in you. So even like wanting to open your own gym and helping back, out in the community and doing what you love, I find that so awesome. And just, I know you're going to do great things. So don't say maybe. You will. He will. Manifest that. Put it out in the air. Speak life over it. And you will. You will.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. So super excited about that. And so how has training been, with COVID happening and fights happening? How has COVID has it put a damper on upcoming fights and how you train and stuff like that, or how's that?
So COVID has affected some of it, but not fully, because it's all on me, I could decide if I want to train or not. I really don't need a gym to train. Like I said, for the longest time I was training out in my garage. But yeah, once COVID hit, I was actually at a gym called Little Brawlers, and it was just too small of a gym and too packed. But once that closed down, that's when I realized, like, I have my own ring. I have bags on my house. Like, I literally have a whole little gym set up at my house, and like, I have speed bag, everything I need on my house. So like, what's the point of going to gyms and worrying, oh, when is this one gonna close? When is this one gonna close? So, like I said, right now it's like, If there's no gyms, I have my gym on my house. I could run around the block. If it's cold, I got a treadmill. You know, I'm always. I have all the tools at my house, and like right now, I'm even going to a gym called House of Pain East right now, and that's where all my team's at right now, and that's just where I'm going.
That's awesome. So Steve Messis, right? Is that his?
No, House of Pain East with Brendog.
Okay.
Coach Brendog.
Hold on, what is his? Airtight.
Yeah, his is actually House of Pain, and then there's House of Pain East.
Oh, okay. So, y'all see,
yeah,
I'm still learning.
There's two House of Pains, but yeah, he's airtight. Yeah, he's airtight.
Okay, awesome. So that's cool. That's awesome. And so tell us a little bit about your fan base, because I know your fan base. You know, we have a lot of people joining us. We have a lot of people on air, and I know you have a really loyal fan base. So tell us about your fan base. You want to give a shout out to your fan base?
Well, first of all, I want to thank all my family. You know, they're my biggest fan base, and like I saw right now, my girlfriend's sister just commented. Yuri, she's one of my biggest fans already. I haven't known her for that long, but I love her. She's awesome. She supports me. She went to my fight, and like I said, my family, my sister's boyfriend, CJ, Rosa, my mom, my whole family, they always come out and support. They're my biggest fan base right now, and I do have friends and all that support, but I gotta thank the people that were there from the beginning, which is my family.
Yes, awesome, and that's awesome, because you could tell every time you're at the fights too, even at the last fight, like I'm believing that was your whole family was right there, you know.
My family and my girl's family.
Yeah, and you could just tell, the whole family, the whole love that was there, and just everybody that showed out, and I love seeing that, especially like with Hispanics, right? Like, you know how it is. Like, the whole family will be there. We'll have people outside still there, too, in the parking lot.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, that is awesome to see. And so, you know, upcoming boxer, and, you know, we're ending out today in Hispanic Heritage Month. So, we've been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month all month long, as you know. And, you know, some of you call it Latinx Heritage Month. You know, the wars. We're all one people. But how is it, you know, representing your culture in the boxing world, and how is that to you? Like, what drives you in that sense, and, you know, what motivates you in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely, it's in my blood, you know. Everybody, like I said, my mom's from Durango, my dad's from Michoacan. I gotta represent Mexico, and that's half of, like, the United States has so many Mexican people, and we gotta represent always. And I love that because they motivate me, and like, even if they don't know you, and like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, just Mexican people have a different vibe, and they always motivate you and lead you the right way, if that makes any sense.
No, they do. And you know, it's funny because sometimes, you know, even like at dinners and stuff like that, or even sometimes like when friends will come to like Mexican churches and that, they're like, oh my God, they're feeding you guys, like everybody, like everyone's just so welcoming, and it's just a different vibe.
Yeah,
it's
most
just
definitely. Even if you don't know them, even if you don't know them, they're always like.
They're just like, come on.
Yeah, comiste, like, they're always, they make sure you eat.
Yeah.
Even if you're full, they make sure you eat more.
And they'll send you with some plates too.
Oh yeah, yep. That's how it is.
And so yeah, just so much love from our people, and like, you know, like you said, even people who don't know you, just everyone's so welcoming and so coming in, and so how is it, you know, how do your parents feel, you know, seeing that their son is achieving this and representing our culture? How do you think that affects them, or how, if you've seen it, how is it affecting them?
I feel like it also motivates them, like, because they're always motivating me. If it didn't motivate them, you know, they tell me like, don't do it, you know.
Yeah.
Like before I had a gym on my house. So me and my dad, we don't have the best relationship, but before we had a gym on my house, he actually built that for me. He turned my whole garage into a gym, so he added onto it, and that's how I put my bags. He put my the fierros on top, so I could put my bags on. So obviously, you know, he wanted me to do better, so, or like achieve my goals. So he built all that for me. He's even bought me bags and stuff. So like.
That's
obviously,
awesome. Yeah. That's so good. And
he's went to the flea market before and like got some cheap gloves, but you know, cheap gloves, but that means he thought about me, you know. Oh, they're cheap gloves, I'm gonna buy them for my son, you know.
Yeah.
So obviously he's thought about me, and you know, he wants me to continue doing.
That's good,
but,
yeah. And obviously, like, you're great at what you do, and so, you know, and doing everything. So that's awesome that your family is, you know, behind you and supporting you, and, you know, and it's okay. Sometimes, like, we don't have those best relationships. It's okay, but knowing that you still have the support, you know, and knowing that they're still there backing you. And, you know, I think sometimes, you know, because I've spoken to a couple other people about, you know, stuff like that when they bring that up, and just, it's okay, because I think sometimes, you know, like, that's their way of showing you, and maybe that's just how they know how to show you.
Yeah.
And so, not knowing your situation or anything, but it's still awesome that your dad is backing you and still behind you, and being there with the rest of your family and supporting you. So that's awesome. And so, what are you looking forward for the future? Do you have upcoming fights coming lined up?
November, I think it was 14, Steve Masters told me there were some fights, and he told me he was going to get me on, but I guess they pushed it back to December because they changed the card into, I think, MMA.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I'm trying to get on the next card, and I'm trying to get more fights. I want to get comfortable because, like I said, till this day, I still get nervous, and, like,
Yeah.
I freeze up. Like, in the gym, like, I'm a whole different guy. Like, I'll be sparring, like, pros, and, like I said, I'll be banging with them. I'll be doing good. Like, I'll be throwing down with them, and then once I go to the ring and, like, in front of a crowd, I think that's what gets me. It's like,
yeah.
It's like right before I'm good. Like, I'll be hitting the mid, so I'm good. I'm hyped up, and then once I get in there, like, my legs get all shaky, and I just get really nervous. So I just want to keep getting more fights to the point where that doesn't happen anymore. I go in there and I do my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we almost had a little sparring here in the studio, you know, because, you know, someone here was trying to, you know, thinking they could buy this belt, but I won't mention any names. But, you know, so you got to guard that, you know, and make sure it's not something that someone can take from you. And so, you know, who are some of the boxers that have inspired you? You know, who do you look up to? Like, who do you watch? Like, what else motivates you? You know, besides your drive, besides your passion, you know, I think we all have mentors or people that inspire us that are not directly in our lives, but the sports that we follow or the hobbies that we do. You know, what are some of the boxers or whoever that has inspired you and just motivates you to keep it going?
So one of the people that inspire me a lot is one of my old coaches. He's still a coach, kind of, but, like, we're more like friends right now. He's busy working. He's doing his thing. I'm not going to stop him from doing that. Sergio Ramirez. He took me into training when nobody else did, and he motivated me a lot because he also had over, I think, 67 fights in amateur. So he was really good. He knew everything. He taught me some of the things that I need to know. Like I said, not everything, because there's different styles. You really can never learn everything. And he actually showed me a video of this boxer, El Finito Lopez. He actually had, I believe, 51 fights, no losses, 1 draw.
Yeah.
And just the way he fought was, I felt like it was the way I fight, you know, like, because I'm really tall, and same thing, he was pretty tall, and, like, it was just, we had the same style. My coach was like, I see this guy in you. And then another one was Marquez, and then through Marquez, I saw a video of Mike Alvarado, and then turns out I met him in Thornton, and we actually did a few sparrings together, getting him ready for some of his fights, and unfortunately, you know, he just got too old and past this point, and he retired. But he motivated me a lot because he even fought Marquez and gave him a war, knocked him down in the fight, and, like, to do that, that's amazing. And to coming out from Colorado, that's really big.
Yeah, and he was pretty big out of Colorado.
Yeah,
I mean, he still is. I mean, if you're a native here in Colorado, you know about Mike Alvarado.
Yeah, most definitely.
If you don't, then you're not a native. So I'm just saying.
And to spar him, that's like a big accomplishment for me. It's like, I'm not saying, like, you know, like, he beat me up, but, like, you know, like, it's like I got beat up, but by who? Like, a professional, like, boxer, a big name. So it motivates me to, you know, be better.
And how was that working with him?
Oh, it was awesome. It's a different style. Like, coach told him, I think I was like 17 or 16 at the time, and he's like, what, like 30-something, 40s?
I think he's probably in his 40s. I know he's a little bit older than me. Okay, I'm dating myself again, but I know he's a little bit older than me.
Yeah, so
yeah.
he's older and he's stronger, and I'm a kid at the time. So like it's like his coach is like, Mike, don't go too hard. Mike, don't go too hard. And like I'm over here like just just trying to do my thing and getting all kind of scared and anxious. I've never sparred this guy, and like for him to be going light but hitting me, but me feeling like it's really hard, I'm like, what the heck, like. And after a few, I think we sparred. We didn't spar that many times, and when we did, it wasn't like trying to kill each other. It was him like trying to work on him technical and me like more power and stuff. And he was more head movement. He would basically work with me, but like same thing. It's like a whole different style, a whole different world when you go in there with Mike. Like I said, he thinks he's hitting you light, but for me, I feel it hard. It's like it's crazy. But
I would have been doing the fake falls, like
no, yeah, you couldn't do that with Mike. Not at all.
I'd be like, oh, okay, and just fall down.
Yeah, you couldn't do that with Mike.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't last in the boxing ring.
And that's the thing, you don't want to do that with Mike, because then it makes you feel like he's probably thinking, oh, he's the bum. Oh, even I wanted to go down, trust me, but I'm just like, no, I gotta stay up. I gotta stand my ground, especially against this guy.
Yeah. And so sparring with different people, do you see the difference?
Oh yeah,
in
most
different
definitely.
people that you spar with?
Yeah, most
How
definitely.
is that?
So like when I was training with James and Aaron Lopez, he's also a semi-pro boxer. Me and him would spar for like I think it was like a whole 2 months, no, maybe like month and a half straight, and then we just got too used to each other. Like we can't be doing that. We got too used to each other. Like I knew him too well, he knew me too well. And then once I sparred at a different gym, it was like, whoa, this isn't Aaron, So it's like each fighter has a different style.
Okay.
Like yesterday, I sparred 3 different people. Each one was different. One of them had the Philly shot. One of them was more of a patient, and one of them was more of a brawler, trying to knock your head off. So each person you fight, it's never the same.
So is it better, and just trying to understand, because I'm still new to the boxing world. So as far as knowing like certain techniques and training and stuff like that, I mean, we all love boxing, or at least I hope we do, and we love watching it and that, but actually getting to know the sport is a whole different
thing.
Definitely. And so is it better to spar with different people all the time, or is it good to have like the same person, or how is that?
To a certain extent, like if you know your opponent, like there's been times where I'm like, oh, I'm fighting a southpaw, so I'm gonna get somebody who's lefty. And then it's like, okay, he's a lefty, so I'm going to spar him, and my opponent's probably going to fight just like him or a little bit similar. So for that, it's like, yeah, we could spar the same guy for a bit. But then it's like, if it's like we don't know who we're sparring, I could just know my opponent's name. I don't know if he's a lefty or a righty, so I'll spar a lefty and a righty, and like I'll just be different styles, Philly shot, orthodox, all those styles. I'll try sparring with everybody, so that when it gets to the point, like, oh, he was like this. Oh, I know what this feels like.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go in there. You don't want to like, oh, he's a left hand, and I'm gonna spar with the right hand the whole time. So when I get in there with the left hand, it's like, his left hand is his dominant. So if I step to his left, he's gonna catch me, and that's his most powerful hand.
Yeah. That's so good to know, because I just even think that's like in life in general, right? Like knowing your opponent, like knowing the people you're going up against. Okay, maybe not, but but it's good. And so how does that keep you on your toes when it does come to fighting? Because I feel like even just in that, like you always have to be aware and always be on your feet and always like know your surroundings and what's around you.
You talking about in the ring?
Yeah,
or
like in the ring. So once you actually start
when I step in there?
Fights,
So it's like, it's really nerve-wracking. Like, some people make it look easy, or like they go in and it's like, it's easy. But once you go in there, it's like you forget everything. You can't hear the fans. You can't hear nothing. It's like you're in there to fight. And like I said, for my first fight, I went in there and I was like, it's gonna be just like an amateur fight. And when I went in there, I lost, but I learned something. I was like, he was trying to kill me. I got a bloody nose. Like I thought, like I heard the audio. They thought like I broke my nose or something, but I didn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I got a pretty bloody nose, and it was like, you just don't know what's gonna happen, and it's like you gotta be calm and relaxed and composed the whole time, because if not, something's gonna go down.
Yeah, and so how is that? I always wonder that when you're in the ring, and you just mentioned that, like you're not listening to anything else. So is it hard to get rid of the distractions of like, because you hear the coaches on the other side and then your coach yelling at you, and so how do you balance that out? Because I feel like, I don't know, I don't fight, but I feel like if I was in sports, in any sport, like I feel like you want to hear from the fans and that, but then it
Yeah.
does distract you. So how do you balance that out?
I truly feel like it's more like the adrenaline. You know, like if you're hurt or something, and like your adrenaline just hypes you up and you don't feel it. I feel like it's like, and plus you're getting hit, so it's like you have to you have to focus. If I'm not if I'm thinking of what they're saying, I'm gonna get hit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get rocked, and I don't want that. So I just normally try looking at my opponent in the eyes and just focusing on him. Because I don't want to slip up.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like I'd be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's happened before, too. Not to me, but, like, to other people. It's happened. I've seen it, and I don't want that happening to myself, so.
Yeah. I always wondered that, because I'm always like, oh, that would be, like, a distraction. Like, if I was a fighter, or even just, like, in any sports, I'd always want to be like, hey, thanks for coming. Boom. Like, you know, whatever. Something happens. And so you always got to be, you know, vigilant.
Aware, yeah. You always got to be aware.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Like, to know that, because I always wondered that, like, do you guys really hear or tune us out, or what's happening?
Every now and then you could hear, and, like, you know, if you're calm and it's, like, really quiet, you could hear a few fans. I've heard my girlfriend yelling or my mom, you know, you could hear it, but, like, your brain just wipes it out.
Yeah.
You don't focus on it. I think that's what it is. I think you could hear it. It just, your head just wipes it out.
Yeah, so it's really like the movies, you know, like everything just kind of
it just goes through one ear out the other.
And everything. And so, yeah, we, you know, thank you for tuning in, guys. We just want to say thank you for tuning in. For everybody who might just be joining, I have Ramiro Figueroa with us today. Lightweight, right?
Middleweight.
Middleweight. Okay, I'm still learning my weights, y'all.
Yeah, no.
I just know I'm on the chubby weight, okay? We were talking about this earlier. I had some cheat days, y'all. But middleweight, middleweight champion, just won the last fight. And so for those of you that are tuning in, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. And those that who've been here, you know, we just want to say hello. And we can see you guys here. So we have Luis Lara from Tampa Bay. Thank you for joining. Amy, Tony, Mike Rivera, Anamia, Lynette, Calvin, and then Yuri, you said, Michelet, and then Reina, is that? Yeah, Reina.
That's my girlfriend.
Yep, girlfriend on here, so proud of you. And then, you know, if you want to read that, and then your sister's on there.
Selena,
yes.
She's on there.
And so, you know, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can always still hit share, start a watch party, hit that button, you know, and so, you know, you got a lot of fans out here, a lot of people watching. And for those of you that know, you know how Facebook is, a lot of times we don't see the comments until after the live is over. You know, those, I don't know what they're called, anagrams, something like that.
Buffering, whatever.
Yeah, and they just block things. I know last time, you know, after we signed out, there's like hundreds of comments and we didn't get to see any of them. So if we missed some of your stuff, we're not ignoring you. Just sometimes there's a delay on what we get on our end. But we just want to say thank you for tuning in and joining us here on KUHS The Stream on Ignite with Melissa. And so, what else do you have going on? What's new with you?
What's new with me?
Yes.
What you mean what's new with me? Like
what's new?
Outside or like?
Yeah, outside of boxing. Schooling? Are you doing anything?
I did go to trade school for a bit, and then COVID hit, and I just lost motivation, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because I went to a trade school for, I think it was 8 weeks, and I was going to be an electrician, and then, like, as soon as my trade school was over, I graduated from that, and then COVID hit, and I was like, you know, like, everything closed down, and I just lost motivation. I was like, before it hit, I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and now it's just like, I don't want to do it.
But now it's giving you more time to focus on boxing, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And so, what are some fighters, maybe if you want to throw it out there, who are some people you would love to box in the ring?
There's this guy that, he called me out, and then he wanted me to go down 2 pounds, and then he said he didn't want to fight me. This is the fight I was going to get the belt for, supposedly. Yeah. But then he didn't end up wanting to fight me for that fight. His name is Jesus Carrillo. He's at 145, but if he goes up to 147, I'll be gladly to fight him.
Okay, Jesus Carrillo.
Maybe we could put it on the line. Maybe we could fight for the
Come
belt
on.
if he wants it.
I'll share some
If
of
not-
my Indian tacos with you.
If not, it's fine. If not, it's fine. I'm sure there's other opponents that want to fight me. So
Yes.
yeah, he's one of them.
And so, who are some people in middleweight and pro boxing, like, you know, the pros out there that are out there that you aspire to and look up to?
Well, Canelo used to be a middleweight, but now he's like
Yeah.
freaking heavyweight, 165, 170s. But when he was down there, he looked clean. I liked the way his style was, and there's a lot right now. And the thing is, now they're moving up. They're like, they fight once this way, and then they go up. They keep bouncing,
Yeah.
and that's what I need to start doing soon too. Because, like I said, there's like Canelo. He's a champion. I think 6 or 7 different weight divisions.
Yeah,
so he's
yeah.
165, 147, 152, I believe. He's in 7 different divisions, which
Yeah.
is different weight classes. So he's taking over. Same thing with there's so many
Yeah.
out there, but yeah, they're all taking different
And so,
divisions.
even not in your weight class, who are some that, you know, just inspire you and, like, you know,
Ryan Garcia is one of them. I just like his attitude. He's always happy. He's not too cocky. It's all right to be cocky sometimes, but not too cocky. He's humble. You can see,
Yeah.
the people that are like, oh, I'm good. Like, I don't need to do this. You know, they're
Yeah,
really cocky to a certain extent. I hate those type of people, but he's always a happy person. He's always posting on the ground for everybody to see. He's always motivating, and like, he's one of them. Same thing with Canelo. He's low key. He doesn't brag. He doesn't do none of that. Those are the type of fighters I look up to, and those are all the fighters that end up coming up on top.
Yeah.
Is the more humble ones, less cocky. And
Yes, and then so T-Mobile Arena, we're gonna get you in there someday, right?
Hopefully,
We'll
one
hopefully
day.
see you in there.
one day, hopefully.
And so, how does that process work? So for us that are, you know, still newbies, kinda to the boxing world, you know, learning all the aspects of it, what type of process does it take to go? Is it so there's semi-pro, pro?
Amateur, semi-pro, and pro.
Okay, semi-pro and pro. So what's the process to get to pro?
I could turn pro right now if I wanted to. I just don't feel ready. Like I said, I still get nervous, and I don't want to do that in a pro fight and mess up my record.
Yeah.
Because right now, semi-pro, like, if I mess up my record, it's not going to go on my record forever. So that's why I'm staying here for at least to the end of
So how does
next year.
the process work? So for us that are still learning and doing that, what is the difference between, well, obviously amateur is just beginning and
Well, actually,
learning, right?
amateur, there's certain extent. So it's novice and open. Novice is 1 to 10 fights. So if you're in a novice division, you fight people with the same experience as you.
Okay.
But once you go to 10 fights, you can fight a guy with 200 fights, 10 nationals, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And
And so that's
Yeah.
amateur fighting?
yeah, that's amateur fighting.
Okay, and then so semi-pro is what
And
you
then,
are.
yeah, and then semi-pro, you get paid.
Okay.
Fun part. And then it's basically pro, just you start off with 3 rounds instead of 4 rounds. And they're 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes with a pro fight. They're, semi-pro is basically getting you ready to go pro. So it's
So
without
just
headgear.
positioning
Yeah,
them,
without
yeah, okay.
amateurs, you wear headgear and you use like some fluffy gloves, and it just protects you more. And then semi-pro is where it's like, okay, you're at this level where you're amateur still and you're about to go pro. So you gotta learn what this side feels like. And like I said, till this day, I
Yeah.
still get nervous, and I learn something new every fight. So.
I think sometimes though, I think it's still good to be nervous because I think it still makes you like humble and grateful. I don't
Yeah.
know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's like in anything because even in here, like I still get nervous coming in here, and you know, and I'm just like, oh, like I don't show it, but you get nervous and you're just like, oh, but then once you're here, like you flow. But I think something with that nervousness always just kind of like keeps you grounded,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure, yeah.
I don't know, maybe I could be wrong.
I think it is too, honestly.
So I think like don't ever get rid of the nervousness. I feel like once you get rid of the nervousness,
I think being nervous is good,
yeah,
but to a certain extent.
yeah.
To a certain extent.
Like don't let it take over. But I feel like that little tiny nervousness makes you like just appreciate it
Yeah.
that much
Sure,
more.
yeah.
I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. And so right now, who are some of, you've been practicing yourself and working with yourself, and who are some of the people that you'd want to work with?
Honestly, everybody. Like everybody in Colorado. Like I said, if I haven't already, I've worked with almost everybody.
Yeah.
I think in Colorado at least. Like I've traveled like to New Mexico, Arizona, Wyoming, everywhere, California to like fight. I went to Vegas. I sparred one of Mayweather's girls.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
yeah, this was when I was an amateur. So I've sparred with different styles, different states.
Yeah.
And I've got knocked down a few times. Like but it's a learning process. Like if I don't learn now, I'm gonna have to learn the hard way when I turn pro or right now.
Yeah.
When it's on the line. So right now I could learn and fix my mistakes. I'd rather do it now than having to learn the hard way.
Yeah. And so how is it, because have you fought out of state before, out of Colorado?
Yeah.
So how is the atmosphere when you fight in a different arena, in a different place?
So when I went to Utah, I lost twice out in Utah, but I thought I completely dominated. So it's basically off a fan base out there for the amateurs. It's like, oh, my guy's fighting out of state, let's give it to my guy.
Yeah.
So it's like if you go out of state, it's like you have to make it obvious. You either have to knock him out or just make him like embarrass him in order for you to win those.
Okay.
But yeah, like I fought in so many states for the amateurs.
What is some of your favorite places that you fought outside of Colorado?
Arizona has to be one of them because that's my coach's hometown.
Yeah.
And I liked it over there because there's no gyms like down here. There's gyms like here. There's gyms like in little shopping centers and stuff. Over there, they have gyms in their backyards. Like, that's what motivated me to do. That's what makes me want to make one in my backyard, and I'm gonna do it eventually.
Yeah.
I kind of started, but I'm gonna fully do it. But yeah, like I sparred in the backyard, and it has a ring, and it was just crazy.
That's
I was like,
cool.
what? It's awesome, and that's one of the times I think I got knocked down with a body shot and then a head shot in Arizona, and then in Vegas as well. I fought one of Mayweather's girls, and in my head I was like, bro, this is a girl. Like I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be nice to her, but no. In fact, she came at me and she was like, I'm gonna hurt this guy, and she did. She was bad. I was like,
And that would have been me falling again, like.
And that was me underestimating somebody. That ever since I've sparred her, that's when I was like, okay, I'm not gonna underestimate anybody, because like before I sparred, like you're sparring her, I was like, bro, she's a girl. Like I'm not gonna spar her.
Yeah.
And she hit like a grown man. Till this day, there's some guys that don't hit anywhere as near as how hard she hit.
Well, see, then that's good, right? Good experience.
Yeah, most definitely. And she was actually ranked #1 in the world.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's a good experience as well.
Most definitely.
So that's amazing. And so you have hopefully you'll be having a fight coming up in December. So we hope to see you on that fight. And so let us know, because we want to share you all over KUHS and Ignite, and we're backing you, and we're excited to see what's to come with you. And one question that I always ask, because I love this, like with fighters or people in just the music industry or just any industry that like you have that passion and that drive. What is something that somebody has told you that has stuck with you? Maybe a quote, inspiration, song, whatever it might be, that has just always stuck with you, that inspired you and changed you, that you would want to share with our audience, that maybe it might inspire and change them as well?
One of them was my coach. He told me, like, to be the best, you have to train with the best. And like I've also learned that the hard way, the hard way, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, I would kind of like cherry pick my guys. I'd be like, he's not that good, I'm gonna spar him. And then once I get to sparring the good people, it's like, oh shoot, like,
yeah,
it's a whole different world. So now I try, like, like with Mike Alvarado, I'm like, I want to spar the best. It makes you literally a better person. If I get my butt kicked, the next time I'm not gonna get my butt kicked. Like, it's every time you learn something different, and if you just go in there with lions, and iron sharpens iron, so you're gonna keep getting better and better if you see it or not.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep going, and you're gonna just become stronger.
Yeah, I like how you said that, iron sharpens iron. So, and it's so true, because it's like you always have those people to like help you and grow you and get better. and like not only are they helping you, but you could be helping them.
I've seen it, yeah. I've seen it.
You don't know.
There's a guy who was training for 3 months, started boxing 3 months, and I was in it 3 years, and I was like, bro, this kid's not that good. And he started training with me, and I kept sparring him, and now he just throws down with me. Like, he's a beast. Like,
yeah.
So just...
That's awesome, though. And I love that. I love that because, guys, it's so true. Iron sharpens iron. And one thing that, you know, those of you that always follow Ignite and that are on here and that follow the show, and maybe you're new to the show, but those that have been following, one thing that I do love to talk about is community, and having that community of people that you can go to, and that circle that you have, and that those people that help you grow and help you learn. And so even just in that, like the community of having iron sharpening iron, and that's just awesome, because to have those people surround you, you know, and make you better and grow you, and you don't know if you're helping them as well, and I believe you are, because again, in the word itself, iron sharpens iron. And so that's amazing, and just one thing that I think is awesome that you said, because it's just like I always talk about community in here.
And you want to do that to your community. You don't want to just, you know, like one person be better than everybody. You want one person to help this person and build together to, you know, make this community better for everybody, not just your community, but like your community, but not just for you yourself, but everybody in your community.
Yeah, because I believe that, you know, when we do stick together, you know, it's like your win is my win is your win, and I think sometimes people forget that, you know, like you're not competing against your friends. You're not competing. You guys should be lifting each other up. You're at different levels at different times and different seasons of your life. So sometimes this person's going to be up, this person might not be up, but then this person's going to be up, and you guys keep lifting each other up and keep growing. And I feel like that's kind of the definition of iron sharpening iron, you know, and just helping each other grow and moving each other along, and being able to, like, even those disciplines, you know, like we were talking about accountability back there. Y'all, your girl needs accountability. I gotta get off them cheat days, okay? No more cheat days.
Starting Sunday, you said.
Starting Sunday. See, I already got another accountability partner. Starting Sunday, y'all, I'm back on it, and your girl was trying to get her life together. And so, no more cheat days. Well, today and tomorrow. This is my last 2 days, okay? But I love that community, iron sharpens iron, and just, you know, the love of your family and your fan base and everybody who's around you, and, you know, just the head on your shoulders, and you being 18, I just know you're going to go far. You're going to do amazing things, and you're going to do great. And, you know, I'm just so honored that you came on today and to be part of the show and just, you know, share a little part of your journey with us. And that's awesome that we get to, you know, see what you're doing and see where you go from here. And it's going to be super exciting, because I know you're going to do amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes. And so, you know, do you have anything else, you know, that you want to say to your fans or anybody out there who could be watching, or when they watch on a replay, you know, because we know we have those people. Everybody does it. I do it. You go back and rewatch because you might not be able to watch during the live. And so anything that you want to share or anything that you want to say to anybody out there, even, you know, call somebody out. I don't know.
Yeah, I already called out Jesus, but I don't think he wants it. But yeah, I want to thank you, Melissa. Thank you. I appreciate you putting me on the show. I've never been on a show like this, so it's like nervous for me. Kind of stuttered along. I didn't know what to say.
No, you did fine. Points. You did good.
So like, yeah, I got really nervous. So I was telling my girlfriend, I'm nervous. I don't know what if I say something dumb. But yeah, I want to thank my family as well. I appreciate you guys, my sisters, my girlfriend Raina, her family, just everybody who supports me, who's supporting me now, because I don't want people like in the future when I get big to start supporting me, because I know there's people like, oh, he's big, I'm gonna start supporting him. I'm gonna think about the people that supported me now when I'm not as big, you know?
Yeah, and that support, and you know, the people that are with you from the start, right? And it's always true, because it's like those people that have stuck with you from the start, like they see the most of everything that's happened. They've been through the good, the bad, the everything, the cheat days. And so, that's awesome. And I know you're going to do amazing things, and I'm excited to see where your journey goes. And, when you open up your gym, you'll be right back here in the studio to promote it and share it with the world, because I know you're going to do it, and I'm excited to see it. And just excited to see what you have coming, because, like I said, and I just want to let you know, coming from the outside, because I think sometimes, we hear from our families, we hear from our friends and stuff like that, but, coming from an outside perspective, sometimes, you get a different sight or different ears or whatever you want to call it. But, just from me speaking and seeing the kind of person you are, just keep that true genuineness about yourself, and just, you're so humble. You got such a good head on your shoulders, and just know what you want, and just even what you've learned so far, I know that you're gonna go far, because just how you talk and just how you carry yourself and just the values that you hold and the standards that you have, I know you're going to do amazing things, and I'm just so excited to see all that's to come for you, and I believe the best is yet to come. We have the championship right here, the belt that someone was trying to steal back there, not for sale. You have to earn this, okay? But yes, I'm just so excited. This is just the beginning of where you're headed, and
this is just one of many.
Just one of many. And I'm gonna see you in the T-Mobile Arena. I'm gonna be there buying my tickets, hopefully reporting live, and sharing with everyone else when you win that fight. And so super excited for what's gonna happen, and super excited for what's to come. And so I'm just so proud of you and where you're going, and I just want to congratulate you and just give you honors. So
thank you, appreciate you.
Yes, you're welcome. And so, guys, thank you for tuning in today. You heard it here first. Jesus, right? Jesus Corillo?
Yep.
Calling you out, you watching?
147.
I'm going to call you out. Just eat a couple burritos, okay? I'll share my Mountain Dew with you. You could take my cheat days. You could gain 2 pounds. I mean,
yep, 2 pounds. Only 2 pounds. Drink the water, you'll get 2 pounds. He just needs the water, he'll get 2 pounds.
Gain your 2 pounds. Come on. I'm going to be the instigator here. Gain your 2 pounds. Come on. What you scared of 2 pounds? I'm watching. I'm calling you out.
You're going to have to get a fight with it.
I know. I'm feeling like, all right, I got to be the amateur fight, though. Like, put those things on my head, because I'm just the one who talks. I'm just the yapper. But yes, so thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And, go watch him. Check out his pages. They can check out, do you have YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff?
I have a few fights on YouTube, but I mainly just have Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, so Facebook, Instagram, we always connect the links in below so you guys can get acquainted with him, start following him. Amazing young guy, young champion, doing great things. And so follow his journey. It's exciting. The next fight hopefully coming in December, so we'll keep you updated on that, and you'll keep us updated with that as well. And so we're excited. We'll come out and see you, and we love supporting you and everyone that comes out here. We just love supporting you guys, because we know you guys got amazing things coming. And so, as always, guys, if no one has told you today, I want to let you know that you have purpose, you are loved, and you belong. So the champ right here, and yo girl, signing out on KUHS, The Stream, Ignite with Melissa. Love, peace, and God bless y'all.
Good.